Hey, welcome to I think our third episode of Tier List Talk. Today with me is Mix. Right now we're going over the tier list again. We had a recent batch of unit buffs, so that means a lot of units are getting moved up and down. The tier list is being shifted and tweaked based on like a lot of personal performance tests we've been running throughout the week, especially based off of how usable units are on the undead. A lot of things are gonna move throughout this discussion today, and things have moved even before it. So how are you, Mix?
Good morning, y'all. I've just eaten breakfast, so if you hear me chewing,
It's morning somewhere, right? We're an international show,
Mm-hmm.
so it's fine. Yeah, I was gonna say this is probably gonna go up just before our next podcast of day and night, and we have a special guest for the next podcast, so please tune in
Ooh.
if this video goes up live. Anyways, I like to get this done before that podcast, because then we get to talk about some of the new units. We're gonna do that again. But overall, the units that got buffed were a base Evil Eye. We got Mighty Warrior Cock. We got the Both Brides. We have Nazarick Shizu, Nazarick Pendo's actor, and then we have Pajama Albedo, as people like to call it. Yeah, so a lot of those units got buffed. A lot of them got better. All of them technically got better. Some of them got a buff. Some of them went up a few tiers. Anyways, so yeah, so we've been just moving stuff around. I'm not sure if anyone has a copy of the old tier list. Go grab it if it's still up. Most likely it won't be. Yeah. So, what are your opinions on the buff mix?
Um, there's a couple units got small buffs. A couple units are like totally changed their like what sort of character they are like entirely. Um, and it's good to see some of the older units becoming like really relevant now with a big enough buff, especially like Naz CZ, who used to be the best DPS and then sort of dropped off with all the power creep, and now has been shot up to right up there to the top of the or up there with the top single target DPS.
Yeah, no, her numbers are like so much better now. At like 5 hits, she's better than Christmas Shizu. And then at like 6 hits, 7 hits, she's obviously much stronger. So like I think that kind of like constitutes like the tier break, especially like if it's not even at max hits. Her hit percentage is really high still, so you really only need +2 aim for her to hit it. We've got a lot of aim relics in the
Did
game that are useful.
did our hit percent chance change? Because I
No,
forgot what it was
it did
previously.
not. It's eighty
Okay,
five percent per hit,
yeah,
so it's already
but with a
naturally
plus
that.
four aim, that's always going to
plus
be like
plus
7 hits, right?
yeah, even with +2 hits, it's pretty consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And with her new damage output numbers, even if you do +2 hits and you get unlucky and there's like 5 to 6 instead of like 7, you're still doing more damage than Christmas Shizu. So
Mm-hmm.
uh
And the crit passive, juicy.
yeah, that is really fucking delicious. Yep, and then they gave her more magic attack too, so all her bullets pack more punches, and then her attack cap, she joins a club of over 8k base attack, which is nice. Not very
Mm-hmm.
exclusive anymore, but that is the new Gen 3 stat block of base attack for attackers is about 8,000 minimum. But yeah, speaking of attackers, we've moved some people down. Clem, Aura, and Toka have moved down. Uh, Due to kind of like wear and tear of base lower base stats or like how useful certain nuking units are now. I think a lot more units are gonna like start shifting down. Um, Mix,
Mm.
did you join
I think we're
everyone?
also.
And we were
Mm,
running
uh,
undeads without like S tier units or A tier units. Did you try any of that or no?
no, I got my fill of that when I didn't have any S2 units. Like try struggling to beat the battle arena gold when your best DPS is New Kurumi.
Yeah, Kurumi is nothing to shake a stick at. I think she's still kind of good.
Well, yeah, she is, but like I don't have intimacy with her, and my relics back then weren't as good, so it's like, oh, I could barely get like a 60 turn clear, maybe.
Yeah, but now stuff got buffed. Stuff's got better. Battle arena's
Mm.
permanent, so
Yeah, I will say we've seen a lot of power creep when it comes to single target DPS, so it kind of justifies some units dropping down.
yeah. I honestly feel like the bottom 5 units of current A tier are probably gonna drop to B tier. It's gonna be kind of disgusting.
Oh, I did want to bring up. I did want to say, did we have any like field testing for Nalbedo 2?
Yeah, no, she's busted.
Mm-hmm.
From my man Aku, on his Giga Whale account, he got her. He's been messing around with her. He's thumbs up across the board on her and content.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Does she still have higher percentages than NetCZ now?
yeah, uh, yeah. We can do the quick check. This is the air quote podcast discussion where we actually have good transition. uh yeah, so now Shizu, I think we did some quick math before this started, and she does 392% damage on 7 hits, and then Albedo, her hit is um was it deal 3 hits of 65% to 1 damage. Well, no, sorry, it's the hit herself one, right? Sorry. 3 hits, 3 to 5 hits of 112. So at 3 hits, she hits 336, which is just at Shizu's 6 hits at her lowest. And then once she goes to 4
Mm-hmm.
hits, she beats Shizu at her highest. So yeah,
And it's 2 MP, yeah.
yeah, she's just fucking busted. What is
Yeah.
this? What is this monstrosity that they've released for us to
And
fucking
she
craft?
was 0.3% on her own banner.
Yeah, yeah. That's
I'm so salty.
everyone's 0.3% on them better now. Oh, Nasfest.
Oh my god.
Okay, so yeah, Shizu got better, not enough to make her the best though. That's a shame. But yeah, moving some units down, I am just going to move Aura, Newness, then other Aura, and then
Oh,
Ippon.
been harsh here.
Yeah, I am harsh because if you look at the like Master Kakaitis buff, like
Mm-hmm.
he is just better than like Swimsuit Evil Eye, except that she hits Earth and he hits Ice. But then like his base numbers are just higher. Um, I actually want to also drop Fluid down too, to be honest. Uh, I don't think.
I just got intimacy with Fluter,
Yeah, like
which
the
is like
issue.
my third intimacy character.
I think the issue with Fluter, if we just open more tabs and close more tabs, is that his natural low base attack, he's still like 7k. That's the issue, right? Yeah, he's just at 7k with intimacy, and then like he's got AOE 65% win to all, and the shred debuff's not bad, but like we have a unit called Valentine's Yuri who also does this a bit better, and then we have his full MP attack. If this was like Clementine, Nazar Clementine with 3 MP for 2 elements at 130, that would be insane. But like it's not. And then she has 500 more base attack than he does. And then like
Mm-hmm.
he's got some strengthen, but she's also got some strengthen. So yeah, that's kind of it. I am just like fucking bringing the hammer down hard on some units. This like all tier lists are subjective, right? And obviously with these harsh changes and movements of units, people are gonna be moderately upset, and most likely we are gonna tweak things again after this conversation. But this is just to get like an explanation of our mindsets of why we put certain units where, because the community actually wanted to hear some of the reasons instead of just seeing the new tier list get updated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Besides the other units, Nazarick Shizu is probably a bit too high at the bottom of S, but I think she's fine there because like theoretically her damage caps are like head and shoulders above everyone else. Like for like the
Mm-hmm.
cost of it, plus like the crit on her passive, I think all that's just really really strong. Besides that, A tier, I think maybe like Nazik Momon may be a bit too high still. There's a lot like AoE damage units I'm kind of like questionably leaning on, and I'm gonna maybe do some more testing throughout the week. But
Mm-hmm. I think single target DPS is probably the easiest to test because it's just like you bring them in, you hit
Yeah.
an enemy, see how well they do.
Also, the content lately has been coming out where single target DPS has been falling off. You want the
Mm.
AoEs. You want like a lot of big AoEs. So that's why the AoE units aren't really getting moved as much as the single target ones, because the use will kind of shine in the future. And also
I think
oh, go on.
with an SCZ, you want to compare her with Anniversary Solution since that's the most similar unit in that tier.
We could actually do that, to be honest. Um,
They're both 4MP single target DPS.
yeah. So I'll just clear up some of these tabs. Okay, so attacker, and then we can grab Shizu first, and then we can go grab solution next, right? Is she the height one? No, she's the darkness one, right? Okay. Yeah. So stat wise, 100 more HP on Shizu, 400 less defense, attack, 400 less attack, 200 more defense, and then less speed, except that I know she has a speed passive. And Solution also has a speed passive. It doesn't matter. They both have speed passives. So yeah. So Solution packs more of a base punch. Like her stats, I say, are just stronger than Shizu's base stats. But then the bread and butter
So
skill.
not a huge difference.
Oh yeah, not a huge difference. Well, I still think 400 is kind of big, but like not a huge difference. But like statistically, Solution's better. Then we have the 3 to 7 hits on her, which let's just say like gratuitously, we let Shizu hit like 4 times. Sorry, 3 to 7 times. So let's say we'll look at her highs and we'll look at her lows, right? So like we said earlier, she hits about 392 on her highs. So then we can look at solutions for MP single target damage. It's 6 hits of 39%. So just fucking ballpark that a bit, and that's 234%, right?
Mm.
So higher highs. Shizu has much higher highs. Um, Shizu, if she just hit 3 hits, right, it'd be about like 168%. So that's not that great, to be honest. And then it would take 5 hits for her to be better, I think, if my math is correct. So it's at 4 hits she's under, and then 5 hits she's higher DPS wise. So if you give her like an aim relic, she should be doing about 5 hits with +2, like minimum. So like, even though I think comparing units with relics and without relics is cheating, like, Shizu has kind of like a better ratio of like base damage. It's just that like you need that aim
Mm.
relic, and then her highs are higher. Besides that, you can't really not factor in that solution does have bleed, and bleed is really good on like those meaty targets. She gives herself like a
So
hit.
it's not guaranteed.
Oh yeah, it's not guaranteed, but she has a hit buff and attack buff for herself. So sometimes popping
Ooh,
that is
costly.
it is costly, but there has been content where things have been getting more and more evasion. Like you've experienced
Mm.
the recent Idle Undead, right? Where our
Yep.
bat and
Yep.
wolf friend seem to start dodging all the things you want them to get hit by.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's that. So overall, I say like yeah, no, Shizu is comparable. Like at her best, she's a bit better. At her worst, she
She
is a
she
lot
does have
worse.
better passives as well. She has that evasion and the crit buff, which is I think
Yeah.
better than what Annie Sol has.
Yeah, she has 50% base overdrive, and then she has attack. So like, if anything, that gets me to move Shizu up. But then like, I still think like regen is a good passive, than evasion. I think burn is still a bit stronger. But like, it's like there. It's just
Yeah, makes sense.
preference. Um,
Yeah, I think realistically, you would always run Naz CZ with an aim relic to
yep.
get those maximum hits, but that does limit her relic choices. So you can't put like Mighty on her like you
Yeah.
could with Anniversary Solution.
Like the only other relics I would sub for her is either Doll or like evasion relic, but then she has base evasion anyways, so that helps alleviate a bit
Hmm.
of the problems. So like she like you can throw in like a less DPS relic, and realistically, are you running Mighty and a Mighty Warrior on like your undead DPS units? Like I'd rather give them something so they don't die, like undead, like evasion or like heal over time, you know. Like,
Mm-hmm.
man, these new undeads hurt. And they AoE you too. Like, holy crap. Like, first wave of Idle Undead, like the Aura one, like, those units, they're
Hmm.
just AoEing your entire team. If you are
Yeah,
confident enough
actually, like,
to slap
yeah,
Mighty
the
Warrior, like, holy shit.
the Idle Undead, I'm pretty. Isn't it like every unit was just doing AOE on
Yeah.
every wave?
All of them don't AoE at
Jeez.
once, but, like, you will get hit by an AoE, like, once a turn. Unless you
Mm-hmm.
stun or, like, you, like, kill something, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
it's not fun, and if you're throwing Mighty Warrior on your attacker, unless like you run Magic Yuri and you start juking stuff, I don't think you're gonna have like a good time at all.
Mm-hmm.
Uh okay. But yeah, no, A tier still some solid AoE damage dealers and single target damage dealers. Nothing too crazy has been changed. Some units been pruned. With the great division of A tier between attackers and buffers, it looks a lot less like cluttered, which I do like. But at the same time, I am not a fan of how fat B tier is looking compared to like it's pretty much like the same thing as A tier. We're gonna try to like smooth like a lot of things out. But yeah, no,
Gonna drag some people down to C.
yeah, pretty much that. The tier list is gonna change.
Mm-hmm.
The only plus side of this is lately, not lately, like a week ago on the Discord server, we've kind of had like an unofficial challenge where you try to beat like the idle undeads without running any of like the S tier or like SS tier units. And then people have just been seeing how far they can get with B tier and A tier units, and like it's hard. It's hard. Like you take for
Mm-hmm.
granted some stuff if you already have a lot of high tier units. But like you learn some units cannot like put out a fire fast enough. So that's one of the reasons
Mm.
why we've had a unit like Saint Clem drop. Cause it's just not that good enough. Yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah, definitely noticed that before I got Aqua, like healing is a problem just because like like if you kind of need an AoE healer and then like a 5 MP AoE heal is actually like not and you can't heal fast enough.
yeah. No, you cannot. You know, cannot heal fast enough. It's like trying to like, uh, drain like a flooding ship with a bucket with a hole in it.
Yeah. Oh, was it a recent undead that it was just like massive status spam? So I got units with like bleed and poison, and it's
Oh
like
yeah,
no, they need a full heal every turn.
yeah. That it gets dicey. It gets dicey. Some people are saying, "Hey man, darkness," but then I'm like, "Hey man, AOE."
Yeah.
Does not work that way, my dude. Yeah. Realistically, we're gonna drop a bunch of B tier units down. I'm pretty much saying,
What I will say is, from what the sentiment I've sort of been seeing is that OG Mare like hangs on to B tier just because
the AOE
like a
heal.
lot of people are saying like yeah the AoE heal and he can over use it on his overdrive too, and
Yeah.
if for some people that is just enough to survive. So I think
Yeah.
like he clings on to B tier for that.
Yeah. We're moving some people down.
Mm.
Some units that actually skate B tier onto the A tier for buffers is the buffed bride, because she's just Jabberdoff, except much more offensively nuking with higher base attack, and her 4 MP damage skill can actually proc bleed, which is like huge. And then the only thing Jabberdoff actually has going for him is being faster, which actually helps as a buffer
Mm.
debuffer.
But the
Uh,
triple debuff is still like the
yeah, yeah,
minimum
yeah.
of being like a really useful.
You still be doing that, but like the free MP, yeah, is what you're kind of like going at with those
Mm.
units, and they still hold up in like late game content. Just debuffing the enemy of all those stats like that is still pretty huge. It makes like
Yeah, so I'd say
surviving.
if a unit has a triple debuff, then like they manage to slide into A tier, I'd say.
Yeah. I think all the other buffers in this tier are just a bit more kind of like, yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah. Like if you count Fluto as a buffer, he technically slides up one, but realistically, you're using him as a DPS, so that's kind of like the big no on him. Um, yeah, yeah. Everyone else is like pretty much treated like as like a DPS until you get to Saint Clem.
Poor
But
Zeshi.
dude, Zeshi is the sleeper. When she gets buffed, she'll be like the awakening of a behemoth. Like holy crap!
True,
I
true.
only I only expect like good things to happen to Zeshi from now on. But yeah. People go down. People go down. Actually, I'll drop Loke. I'll drop Loke, and then like I'll drop kind of like Mass Nines. Loke is actually just super squishy. He's like sub 6,000 HP. Like, holy crap! You need to give him an HP relic, or he's gonna die to like a Swift Breeze. Uh,
And with all these AoE, like you can't really avoid taking damage anymore.
yeah,
Not
like
reliably.
you'd have to give him something like Bow, which just gives you like 3,000 something HP, and then like you just lose out on like a defensive passive or something. It's
No,
just.
even with Bal, like evasion can fail you. You just get a bad run, and it's like, nah,
Oh
this
yeah,
sucks.
I know. It's not saying like you just want anything to make any run a bit more reliable. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Evil Eye moved up to B tier from like D tier. That's one of the big changes. She becomes like a cockroach even though she has insta killer. Ha ha ha. Joke. But like she has like 70% magic damage reduction and 50% physical damage reduction after she uses her
Mm.
defensive skill, and that's insane. That makes her as a tank on par slash better than like Zero and Darkness. Like let that sink in and
Mm.
you'd be like, what the fuck? And then she's an attacker. So like
Yeah, she's like swimsuit Yuri in that like she's not a tank, but she has a tank skill that's as good as the other tanks.
yeah, wait till swimsuit Yuri gets buffed. She'll be in like
She should
that
just
same
become
position.
invincible. Like they don't change any of her DPS stats, but they just make that self buff that she becomes invincible for
No,
that many
just
turns.
give her yeah, just give her 100% reduction. That's it. That'd just be funny. Um, but yeah, they're probably not going to give that much. Yeah. So um, a lot of this, a lot of this looks a bit awful. Like honestly, I wouldn't be too sad to shunt off like Shizu. Probably not as good as Halloween Mare at this point. Halloween Shizu. Red Cock
Mm.
and like yeah, this might seem weird of how I move those ones down. Like they're not as good as what they are, even though like Halloween wasn't that far behind us theoretically, right? It's just that like
Mm.
in broader uses, you're not gonna use them as much. But here's the thing, like they're gonna get buffs, so like I don't see them as like oh shit, they're useless. It's like oh man, they're just gonna get so much stronger. Like if when they eventually get to that buff cycle, which is what we've been getting a lot more often now. And we've gone through like a huge swath of buffs. Like if you look at all these units here, like we're at like 60% of these units got buffed, and are still getting buffed,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Like we're still missing Nazagiri to get a buff, right? Um,
Mm.
and then all the
Wait, what?
original launch, not Yuri, sorry,
That's Yuri got buffed.
Nabe. My
Oh, okay,
bad.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was looking at Yuri when I was saying it because I was staring at her all by her lonesome on the bottom of the E tier. But yeah, no. So like Lazarus Nabe is in line to get a buff, and she might be really hilarious or like a lot worse. I don't know. Her mechanic is weird. It encourages like a
Mm.
DPS unit to get hit. Same thing with like Evil Eye, right? What are you even doing?
Mm.
Anyways, yeah, I think this might be kind of it for the big shifts for now until other units get buffed. But we just moved a lot of units down. Um, most of the reasoning is like you're not hitting the kind of those high highs anymore, and like I would even say I would even move this one. It's like that one up. Just because the AOE comes in
Mm.
clutch and her stats are too high to make her feel like that low, and like maybe even I think Newlist has like 82,000, 8200 attack.
I I would say we now have like a little text description of what each tier means. So I would say like yeah, when you start looking at the lower tiers,
Yeah.
you would have to consider like is a unit really unusable in endgame
Yeah.
to justify them dropping?
Honestly,
Like are they
I feel like stuff like this might be like too high. uh it's just cuz like it used to be the benchmark like how much damage
Mhm.
you did. And I don't think Halloween Aura is that strong still. 7,000, so like you're 1,000 lower than the base average. And then your Dancing Whip is 100 and no, sorry, 256. Actually that's still kind of high. Yeah, I might be jumping the gun with nerfs here, but like, I don't know, man. I still think
Weren't
that's too
the
high.
was it Naz Aura and Halloween Aura really similar?
Oh, they are really similar.
Does that justify like a tier difference?
Yeah, yeah, it does.
Mm,
Yeah. I think it's a lot of haters of Nazagora, to be honest. She hasn't even got buffed yet, man. That's a scary thing.
mm,
Like, she's one of the few
mm.
original Nazarick units that haven't got buffed. Pandora getting buffed recently has kind of like closed the loop on like every like Flow Guardian getting a buff.
Bring back her 5 hits.
Yeah, no, make her back her 5 hits, man. Make her compete with like Albedo in terms of like DPS. Like that shit's pretty scary, you know? Yeah. I think we're gonna wrap this up pretty soon. It's been about like almost half hour. Any kind of like comments you have about the tier list as of this very moment?
Yeah, I think it does make sense to split A tier, though. Just you have to make it clear because I know there's going to be a lot of questions on the Reddit or of the people who look at it on Reddit.
I don't think people
Since
on
she
Reddit look
has
at it.
been officially announced, where would you estimate the new Saint Clem to be? Saint Clem 2,
Uh,
Bloodborne Saint Clem.
bottom of A, top of B,
Hmm.
top of B,
It's really
top of
it's
B.
really weird that like her whole
uh,
character theme is that she's got the 2 knives and she's covered in blood, but she doesn't do bleed.
yeah. Also, like, I don't condone leaks or anything or whatever, and like, I don't know any information about this new unit, or if I did, but from what I do or do not know, Clem I feel is top of B, bottom of A. She's just like Shoutier, except Shoutier can heal herself, which I feel is a lot more
Mm.
useful.
Yeah, basically an elemental single target DPS is
Yeah,
what we've been hearing.
speculative.
Yeah,
Nothing's
yeah. I
confirmed.
guess that's yeah. So I think like although that does bring us a good point. There used to be a certain point where we would say, okay, if this unit is really good at doing elemental damage, single target, then we would put them here. Where would you say is that point now?
Yeah, it's like
Like, say a unit does like
the
a lot
exact
of
same
one
thing.
element.
Uh, bottom of A, top of B. Maybe if it's really fucking nuts, top of A, bottom of S. But like,
Hmm.
yeah, no, like Mighty Cock when he got buffed is an example of an elemental unit that is burst really hard single targetedly, right? So
Hmm.
that's the threshold, man. It's
Oh yeah.
also more content's valuing AoE nowadays. So like it's even like surprising how they're like clinging on to a I keep thinking like this aura needs to be higher, but like I should not have like moved Halloween down so much. I keep wanting to like move this one like up here because I still value the 4MP AoE is pretty good for like content
Hmm.
clearing. Okay, yeah. The more I stare at this, the more changes I want to do. But I'll leave at this. Yeah. Anything you want to add before we close out the show?
They better not do another 0.3% rate up on Nesfest. I'm gonna cry.
Oh no. I'm sorry, man. That's all you're gonna get. All right. Thank you
Oh
for
no.
coming to our tier list talk video. Hopefully, people gleaned some kind of information of why we moved things. Feel free to like start typing in the comment section about why I'm wrong or why units should go up or down. As always,
Feel free to ping me on Reddit, on
yeah,
the
do
Reddit thread.
that. Do
There will
that.
be one.
If this hits Reddit,
It
like
always does. Memi's on point.
no, he'll do the tier list, but he won't do the video. So
I'll link the video. Don't worry.
oh, that'd be hilarious. Do that, do that. You'll get me like all of like 6 views. All right, thank you for
Mm,
watching, and good night.
thanks. See you, everyone.